So thank you everybody for joining me. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce Song. I'm so excited to have you on today's Song. Thank you so much for being here. But for those of you that don't know Song, she's actually a freelance makeup artist, and she creates world-class looks for some of the most high-profile men and women across the globe. Through her talent, knowledge, reliability, and charismatic personality, she has positioned herself as one of Las Vegas's foremost makeup artists. Her light and fresh approach to painting faces has earned her respect and loyalty for both Hollywood's elite and many of the world's most renowned photographers and directors. So Song's vast experience, combined with training by some of the industry's most highly regarded professionals, sees her clients transformed into their best selves. So Song's advice, wisdom, and beauty tips are sought after by both print and at conferences. You guys are like really lucky that she's here today. And she has actually spoken at prestigious events such as the Women of Color Conference founded by MGM, in addition to volunteering her time at local charity events. She continues her education, understanding her profession changes rapidly, looking forward to mentoring others with her unique gifts. And I know she has a lot to share today with our Beauty with Benefits. So thank you so much for being here, Song.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored. All right, guys. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I know it's early, but guess what? Early bird gets the worm, right? So here we are. We're going to talk about two amazing products. It's going to be our Motives Luminous Translucent Loose Powder, and also our powder foundation. I want to give the full name. Our Motives Full Coverage Photo Foundation. And I've been doing makeup for 20 years, 20 plus years. Makeup found me. You know, I wanted to be a veterinarian, a firefighter. I wanted traditional jobs back in the past, but I do know why now I do makeup, because I can touch people's lives, and it's just my calling. So, you know, sometimes we have to lean into the things that were meant for us, and makeup was it. So I'm excited to share with you some products that I love and the differences of them and how you can use them. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask, and we will manage that as we go. All right, so when we're dealing with photo finish foundation powder, that is more like in place of foundation, of the liquids and the cream. The difference between liquid, cream, and powder: cream is just going to be more of a heavier foundation that lays on top of your skin. That's going to be full coverage. Liquid is going to be something that is in between. And then the photo finish powder is fantastic for every skin type. And the reason why it's good for every skin type is because it's used for covering blemishes. It's really good because some people can't use liquid because of the emollient base that's in it. Sometimes it clogs pores and things like that. So you want to make sure that you're using something that is more of a powder form, and it will cover blemishes and skin discoloration. So the different ways that you can use it is with a beauty blender. You can use it damp, and what you're going to want to do is take it and kind of press and move out with it for the coloring, or you can use it with I like this brush. This is our Motives, and it says it's a sculpting contour brush. Here's what I want to tell you about brushes. You don't have to use them the way they say. Brushes are versatile. Okay, I like to use brushes that are made for, that can be used in different places. So this brush is amazing because when I'm pressing in the powder foundation, I can use it and manage it within the space of the area that I'm working in. So this is a really amazing brush that I love to use with my powder foundations.
And I'm just going to hold up the compact just so everybody can see what it looks like. So when you get it, it actually comes in a compact like this. And then when you open it, there's a mirror, and it is a pressed powder. You can see that I've used this one quite a bit. But these actually pop out. So you can pop the powder out if you want to put it in like an empty palette. You can do that as well. But I personally love this powder because I like a little bit more full coverage makeup, and you can, like you said, it's like a foundation, so you can layer it on and get really good coverage, but it looks great in pictures. It's very forgiving too. It doesn't look like you have a lot of powder, and it's very soft.
Yes. And somebody asked what the name of this brush is. This is our Motives, and it's called the Sweeping Contour Brush. So it's great for contour. But like I said, if I'm going to use a powder foundation, I want something that I can use and kind of press into the areas and blend out. And I like the denseness of this. So it's really going to, put that powder where it needs to go. So I like this brush for that. Also, a beauty blender, a wet beauty blender, you can make sure you dampen, squeeze out the product. The other thing that you want to make sure that you do is moisturize. Whenever you're using a powder foundation, I can't even express, you don't want to put powder on dry skin. It's just not you're gonna look like you have dry, cracked skin. So prepping the skin is super important. You're gonna want to make sure you tone it, you use your serums, and then your moisturizer, sunblock if you need it. That's gonna make sure that your foundation goes on smoothly. Also a primer. Okay, the primer is going to help move the foundation, keep it on, and keep it in place. So that's really important when you're using a powdered full coverage foundation. Okay, and the other one I want to talk to you about is well, I use the banana powder, but it's our translucent loose. You can have a translucent loose powder, and I'll tell you the differences between all of them. Between a colored and something that's translucent. The difference is a translucent powder is not going to give you coverage. Okay, a translucent powder is going to go on top of the skin, set your foundation. The difference between the two is loose powder is going to set your foundation. Okay, so if you're using a translucent powder, I like to use a powder puff when I am applying it, and how you do it is you add the loose powder to the cap. Okay, you load up your sponge from the cap. Do you see all that? And then you take off the excess, and then you press into the skin. This is going to set your foundation. All right, and you can also, when you're using a translucent powder, again, that's going to be just to set the makeup. If you use a powder that has a loose powder that has color in it, that's going to help get rid of some of the blemishes and things like that. And it can oxidize. So you want to make sure that you're not using, too much color when it comes to the loose powders. Some great ways to use this loose powder is using it to put under your eyes maybe. So if you're going to do your eye makeup, you can use it for any of the foliage. So I'm going to actually show you guys, because I'm one of those that I need to show. So I'll take and just place a bunch of powder. Can you see that? Can you see that?
I mean,
or is it
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So when you put that powder on there and you're doing your makeup and you're doing your eyeshadow, all that powder that falls off, you can see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you sweep, and then it's just going to give you a nice setting powder right in that area as well. So it kind of does a dual job there. And another great way is to set your eyeliner with loose powder. So you can actually set your eyeliner. This loose powder is in my kit for everything. And another little trick is if you're out of dry shampoo, I use this in my hair to absorb the oil. These powders absorb oil, and it helps to set the foundation. So what it's going to do in your hair is it's going to help to absorb the oil too. So
I love that tip.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah, it's just one where you can kind of get into little hairlines there and use it for that. I want to share another few things that this powder is also good for. Oh, this is what I've done before too, is I've taken it for my lashes. So sometimes if you want to plump your lashes, you can use it with, put a coat of mascara on, then dab a little of the loose powder onto there, and then do your mascara again. So that's another little trick. This is amazing for all kinds of things. So this is a staple in my bag, because it could be so versatile. Let's see.
And I love that formula too, because it is good over any foundation and it won't clog the pores. And I know
Yes.
that's something that, a lot of people are concerned about. Like they want their skin to be radiant. They want their skin to be healthy. And the other thing is it does deflect a little bit of light away from like the fine lines, and it minimizes the appearance of pores and those skin imperfections. So like I tend to have a little bit more oily skin, so I have larger pores right in here. And so I can put that on and I don't have to worry about it like making the fine lines around my eyes look worse, because I know that's another concern that a lot of, people have. They're like, I don't want to make it look worse than it is. And it's also talc, paraben, and fragrance free. So for those that, are concerned about that as well. But do you want to like share too, like why you would pick the banana powder over like the light or the dark translucent powders?
Yeah. So the reason why I would pick the banana powder is really good for pretty much any skin tone. It's not like the clear powder, but we all have a little yellow on our skin tone, so it can kind of give you a little bit of life. But I personally like the banana powder for most every skin tone because it's very versatile in that sense, where it's not, sometimes when I use a darker skin tone, if I use the translucent, it could just be a little off. So that's why you want to be really careful when you're using it and placing it. But it's generally for every skin tone. It's not going to add color to it. So the banana powder, I kind of feel like adds a little bit of life into your skin tone. And so that's why I love it. As far as using something with a little bit of color, again, I like having that, but I just want to make sure it's more controlled. So if it oxidizes, but the great thing about these loose powders is you can control them because it's so finely milled. It's just very light, and it goes on like, I guess like Facetune. If you went to Facetune and you kind of smoothed out your skin, it just gives you this, using like a little brush, it just kind of gives you like a soft sweep of like, I think it's called smooth, where you kind of smooth out your skin tone. So that's why I like this powder, the loose powder, when I'm using it for clients.
It's almost like a veil over the skin. Just
Yes,
like
it's just, it's like it's to me, I think when I think of Facetune, it's like a smoothing out, and it just kind of gives it a nice veil. Exactly.
So we do have a question on our Zoom platform. Which powder would you recommend like older women because of the fine lines? Like, could they use both, or should they use one over the other?
You can absolutely use both. When it comes to more mature skin, is how I like to say it, versus older, mature, I think the biggest point that I have to make with the mature skin is the moisturization. You just got to really make sure your skin is nice and prepped and moisturized. The thing with the pressed powder foundation is that's a nice look for somebody that just wants to just do a more natural look, but then you want to kind of do coverage for every day. And if you have more oily skin, that is a great option. As far as the loose, anybody can wear it. You can literally just go and place this wherever you want, and it's not going to add anything to the fine lines. It's actually going to deflect. It's actually going to kind of take away from those lines. So you can use both of them. It just depends. It depends on the application and how much you're using. So if you're, using this with this brush, it's going to be a little bit more, but the foundation, both the powders that we have are really great for mature skin.
And I like, the moisturization is a big thing because, especially I recommend if you are having, some fine lines and wrinkles around the eyes, to definitely use an eye cream in the morning before you do your makeup as well, to make sure that your under eye is very hydrated, because it's going to make a huge difference versus not using anything. And it's made for that eye area. So it will give enough of that moisturization and enough of the key benefits that you need in that eye area. But the other thing that I don't remember if you touched on this or not, but the photo finish powder is also paraben and fragrance free as well. So just want to make sure people knew that as well. But they both are velvety smooth. This one just is going to give you more coverage, and it has the pigment in, whereas the translucent is more, setting translucent. And even though we have banana, we have light, we have dark, they are translucent, but they do give just a little bit of an undertone, I guess, to
Mm-hmm.
the skin. Banana is also great, I feel like, under the eye area, because usually people have like a little bit of darker circles. So it's going to help color correct that a little bit, but not overly done either.
Exactly. Yeah, and she had Lee had a very good point when she talked about the pigment. That's a big difference between the powder foundation and the translucent powders, is the pigment. Okay, the pigment is made to cover. It's made to use in place of liquid foundation, if you will, if you choose to do that. Now, can you use it over the liquid? Of course, you can take a brush. It's all versatile. I don't want these products to be put in a box that this is just for this or this is just for that. I personally like having compacts versus the loose in my handbags running around. So I will carry the powder foundation for something. If it's warm in Vegas, I'm running around and I don't want to touch up with my liquid, but I'd already put it on. I'll carry that and touch up with that photo finish powder, because it does have the coverage. And then
So
another thing,
because I know that you do a lot of work, obviously, for either photography or movies or, on film. So like, do both of these powders work well with that? Do you have to worry about like getting the flashback that sometimes photographers get with things, or is this powder good for that?
Oh, they're both fantastic for all of it. I would use it for photo shoots. I would use it for television. With it being high definition, the director's going to let you know, hey, we want them to be a little more, dewy. Then you're going to have to adjust as an artist. But as far as the products, absolutely in my kit for all my shoots. I stand by it. They're amazing, and I'm proud to have them because it makes me look good when I put them on my clients and on myself. All my videos and things I do are all these products, and I know my skin, it's going to do the work that it needs to do for camera, lighting, and it's light reflecting too. So what that means is if you're worried about fine lines, you want things that are kind of like light reflecting, like a blurring effect, something that's going to detect away from the things that you don't want to show. So as I always like to say, we are makeup magicians. We are illusionists, right? So we basically go in and we look at the face and we're like, okay, what do we want to take out? What do we want to bring out? And you basically become this illusionist with your makeup products. And so that's kind of what some of these powders do, is it kind of, takes away some of the fine lines, or maybe takes away some discoloration. And
And even like for those people that are still kind of working at home and doing things through Zoom, like you still want to look flawless, right? I mean, you still want to use something because, we're all under the camera right now, I feel like.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, there's times where I don't have the time to do a full face. And it's nice to know that the photo finish powder is something that I can use in place of foundation, where I can go and place it quickly and be ready for the camera, because it's going to cover discoloration. It's going to give, it's got some pigment in it to help cover the skin. Got to be Zoom ready. That's right.
Ready. Now, I know that, you're kind of in Vegas and you've been, off of work for a little while. And so I was hoping that you could just share with everybody a little bit about, how Motives has kind of helped you through that. And, if you want to just tell a little bit of that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, being that I have this full career freelancing, and then, the COVID hitting and everything, it actually gave me an opportunity to focus on Motives, my business. And I'm so glad that I had that, I guess you would say, multiple streams of income, or having something, the side hustle, or whatever you want to call it. The side hustle has become my main hustle. So it's something that I've been able to focus on. I've been able to, oh my gosh, make custom blend foundations from home and sending them out to clients. What's really cool is we've had this rare opportunity to be able to take classes online. And so I have sat through classes and educated myself and learned so much from some of our most incredible trainers. And I was able to build a business at home, a really good business doing custom blend foundations. And also being able to do lessons. I've had a lot of parents reach out to me and say, oh, my daughter's into makeup. You have no idea, these teenagers, they're into makeup, and they have a lot of makeup, and they have the funds for this makeup, you know. And so I would sit and do little lessons with them, and it was extremely rewarding. So by having my own makeup line, by being able to share my gifts with them, so it's been a tremendous it's been a blessing, actually.
I love that. And do you want to just let everybody know, like, how, what made you decide to carry motives in your kit and really consider working with our company?
Well, I actually search motives out myself. I am a very, very, very picky person when it comes to makeup, and I needed something that I can carry in my kit that I can be proud of, and I can go, oh yeah, this is amazing. That could stand up to all the other lines out there, that per lines that are in my kit. And so I did the research. I spent a couple months doing the research, and I made a decision that this is a product that I can keep in my kit, because the bottom line is when I would go to jobs, like, oh, what's that product? I love it. I'm like, oh, you can get it at Sephora. You can get it here. And, I never got anything out of it. I was just handing over to these big businesses. So being able to have my own line, that was, the banana powder is just the same as like the Ben Nye powder. In fact, our banana powder is way better than another brand that I used to use. And so for me, when someone asks me what that is, I'm now introducing them to a product that I love, they love, and it's my line where I can share it with my clients. It's like a win-win. It's silly to not be able to support, your own line and share it. So
I love that. And yeah, we've got a couple comments here. Like Shonville said, right, I hated leaving money on the table when I would send them to the store. And so I feel like with motives, you always know that we're going to have the best quality. We always add to our collection what people are wanting, what they need. So you don't have to worry about us lacking there. And
the trends.
yeah, and it's
The
just perfect
trends.
for professionals like you. And also, even if you aren't working on celebrities, everyday women as well, this makeup is great. So I know in the past sometimes I would use products where, oh, it was great for like film, but you'd never use it on an everyday woman. So that's why I always like to point that out, is it's still wearable, it's breathable, it feels good on the skin, it's not heavy like some brands can be or some products can be on the skin.
It's so pigmented too. I'm not gonna name these lines, but there was one line that I stopped using, 10, 12 years ago, because they changed the formula, and they really cheapened down the product, but you were still paying top dollar. They did such a great job with marketing and stuff, but it was not a very good product at all. And so the one thing that I like about our product, it reminds me of what that product used to be. I'm like, ours are so pigmented. I like that there's not a lot of fallout in our products. I mean, it's beautiful. They did a really great job on making sure that it was top of the line for pros to use in their kit. And that was very, very important to me. And one other thing, because I wanted to go back to when I was telling you the tips of the powder.
Yes, yeah.
This is really great for if you have executives who are really sweaty, clammy. You just add this to their hand, and it absorbs the sweat and the moisture on their hands or on their feet. So sometimes, like if I have a client who's in front of a camera and her shoes keep slipping and her feet are sweaty, you just kind of place some of that powder, because it's an oil absorber. So again, like when you're placing it in your hair, this, like I said, this thing can do so much. If you don't have it, you got to get it for your kit. It's just uses it for a bunch of different
get
things.
like a nice amount of it too in
Yeah.
the container, so it actually does last quite a while.
Oh yeah, this is it takes me a while to run out of this, even though for all the multiple uses that I have for it. So it definitely goes a long ways. Anybody else have questions? I'm trying to think. What else?
So good. We do have a question about some of the other foundation.
Oh, okay.
She noticed that there isn't a liquid powder foundation for darker tones, and And she's wondering about the Lala Dual Foundation. Is it comparable product? It is a little bit different, but we also have a very large range of foundation sticks coming out in the near future. And so we're going to have a lot of darker colors with that. And so we're really excited. And the formula with that is great. But I mean, even when I use the liquid powder foundation, and I know we weren't really talking about that today, I still like to set it with, the translucent powder, especially when I'm doing special occasion makeup or, I do a lot of senior pictures, that kind of thing. Yeah, I definitely like to set that foundation so that I know that it's not going to move. It just kind of locks it in place a little bit too.
You have to think back in the day. What they used to call it? The ladies were going to the powder room, right? They were going to the powder room to touch up. They were the CEOs of touching up back in the day. For some reason, today we're like, I want something that's going to last all day. I want to put it on once. And it's like, we're movers and shakers. We're out in elements. You're going to exude oils. Things are going to come off. So it's all about the skin prep. It's all about setting your powders, using our 10 years younger setting spray, to set all that. But yes, you're human. You're going to need to touch up,
Especially in the summer when it's humid out, depending on where you live as well. Like you can't expect it to. But I will say I am really impressed with the way that Motives does hold up, because I mean, I do my bride's makeup so that it does last until, from usually it's at 9 or 10 a.m. and it's got to last till like 1 or 2.
Yes.
But yeah, I always like to give them like a little touch up with the powder too, that they can do that if needed. We do have a couple of questions for you. Shondell would like to know, what is your favorite product that you use for yourself?
For powder, I love the HD filter powder. That is one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, my favorite.
We're going to be talking about that in a couple weeks too.
Okay. Okay.
That stuff
we'll
too.
save it for that. I'm sitting here in a sea of Motives, and I'm trying to pick. I mean, I'm using the Viva Glam palette today. I'm using my, I really can't pick just one. But I mean, my foundation, actually today my foundation is is our Illuminous foundation, which I love. And I use 2 colors. I contour with one liquid, and then I do the regular color. So they're really versatile like that. But yeah, I honestly love our skincare. It's hard to pick just one.
It is. And so would you say, because Lisa's wondering, what is your favorite daily go-to face makeup? Would you say that it would be the illuminating then?
No, actually, it's usually my custom blend.
Okay.
But I just am like playing, So I actually use my custom blend normally every day. But for summer, for some reason, I'm leaning towards the illuminating powder, liquid foundation. I don't know. I change it up, which is really amazing, being able to play. So I want to really encourage everyone. If you have been using the same stuff, we all get in a routine where it's just easy grab. I encourage you just to remove 1 or 2 things and replace it with something that maybe you want to try, and you'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that, I like this. So if you haven't tried some of the other Motives products, I encourage you just to even take one item that you haven't tried and replace it with something else. And I mean, I'm having a blast using this foundation, because I kind of forgot about it.
It differs too, like depending on where you're going and what you're doing that day. I do my makeup different depending on that too. And so using different products, and like, I know with the illuminating foundation, people are like, oh, is it really glowy? And it's not. It's just like the right amount of like, it just gives the skin like that flawless, healthy glow. But it's not like shiny. It's not like illuminating where it's like a strobe or something.
I'm glad you said that, because what I'm going to tell you about that illuminating, usually with photo shoots and they're like, oh, I don't want too much shine. I want it to be more matte. That foundation is amazing for photo shoots. It's just gives us just vibrancy to the skin. I really love it. So, and I use it for photo shoots. I'll use it for HGTV as well. Some people like to see life in their skin. Not everybody wants everything so matte, but that can be controlled by you, by the powders that you use. So you can control that too. So just because it says, illuminating, Don't be afraid. If you use it, then you can always counteract it with powder. And another thing is, it's like when Lee was talking about how amazing our products are, you don't really need to spend too much time touching up. It's really funny being a makeup artist. I'll go out with my friends like, Song, do you have this? I'm like, no, I don't really touch up. You know, my makeup stays. I don't really carry makeup. Like, you're a makeup artist. How do you not carry them? I'm like, I'm not going to be bothered by that. You know, my stuff's going to last. It's fine. But if I was to carry something, and sometimes I do when it gets really hot and it's, you know, muggy out, is like a powder foundation. I'll carry that.
Wrong with that. And I do have to, we have Mike Cutie watching, and he said that he uses the HD powder on myself every day, and that's, or every live, he said. And that's so true. Like, these products are also for men. Like, don't just think that they're for women. And especially when we talk about like the translucent powder and the HD powder, like those are great for guys because they don't normally want like a lot of color on their skin. They just want something to kind of take away the shine and kind of mattify them. And they want to look flawless too.
Well, I know we're not talking about this product, but this is one I just have to tell you. Is it okay, Lee, if I talk about it?
Yeah, I think everybody wants you to. Go for it.
Okay, so this is called the Pore Minimizing Serum. I don't know if you can see it. It's got a little like skin. Look at it, it's empty. I need more. This is amazing for men. Mike, put this on your skin. It's going to kind of minimize the pores, then do that HD filter powder. Oh, you are just going to level up. It's amazing. So this is I love it.
I know there's so many great products, and I know people are talking about setting sprays, and yeah, tune into this entire series because we're actually going to be covering a lot of products that are not only going to help kind of prep the skin, but keep it flawless all day long with so much staying power. And so, yeah, I really appreciate you being here. I know that you are very sought after, so I'm glad that
thank you.
You know, agree to do things like this because you are a busy woman. But for those of you that registered for today on Zoom, you actually registered for all of our sessions we're going to have for the rest of the month. Every Wednesday at the same time, we're going to be talking about beauty with benefits. We're going to have other professionals on as well as next week at the same time, we're going to have Lauren Reidinger is going to be a guest. And, you know, there's nobody better to talk about beauty with benefits than the founder of Motives Cosmetics. And so I'm so excited to hear from her. So make sure you tune in, same place, same time, same back channel, I guess. But yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to let you guys know, if you're interested in any of these products, reach out to the person that invited you to watch this broadcast or this video. If you just stumbled upon it, you can just visit motivescosmetics.com. I will try to put the links in the comments on the Facebook post as well, so you can just click there to find them. But thank you so, so much for being here. I was so glad to see you virtually because I miss seeing your face.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone taking your time to be on here for yourself. And I hope you got something out of it. And you can always reach out to me.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.